Louder with Crowder and Change My Mind. Steven Crowder went up against H3's Ethan Klein, and man, it has the internet abuzz. But who really won this fight? Let's break this down objectively. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I can say that I enjoy both Steven Crowder and Ethan Klein's content to an extent. There's certain content I like, and there's certain content I don't like. They have certain opinions I don't like, and they have certain conversations opinions I do find intriguing. The reality is both of them come with pros and cons in my mind. I really do feel like I'm in the center of this. I don't hate either of them. There's certain things both of them have done that I don't like, but at the end of the day, they're both YouTubers who know how to make strong content. They both have very dedicated audiences, and if you ask either their audiences, they'll tell you that their side won. If you ask the liberals, they'll say Ethan Klein won. If you ask conservatives, they'll say Steven Crowder won. The reality, though, is both of them lost. Both of them didn't just clear win. If you really want to look at this objectively, both have issue here. And I want to break that down and explain why, for my opinion, trying to be more center, objectively stepping back as not a super fan of either of them, why that is the case. All right, so let's see who's really the winner here. Let's go through some of this footage. I want to play Steven Crowder's take first, because if you actually watch Crowder's upload and you watch Ethan Klein's upload, there really is context and more stuff added that sort of helps to clear up who won or why they both might have lost. Let's start with Crowder's footage first.
I bet this guy's going to do anything he can to avoid actually debating. Yeah. I think he wants to do anything that he possibly can to avoid.
Good prediction.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Wait, when you want me to admit him into the room,
so they're prepping.
Sure, well, I'll just say you guys do the sound check. And I don't want to sit there and talk with their producer Dan and stuff, but I don't think this guy wants to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if he's probably going to bring someone else on who's his producer, like a fan of that Seder character. Yeah, that'd be my bet, but hey, hopefully he mans up. Okay, you can do your sound check.
Alrighty, here we go.
So, very interesting here. So they set the sound check. Right now at the gate, Crowder knows exactly what's going to happen. So my argument was, well, why weren't you better prepared? Two, he clearly knows Dan the producer. He's not a fan of Dan the producer. That'll come more later.
Hey guys, can you hear us?
As well as the Sam Seder person. He knows it's coming. He knows he clearly doesn't like Sam Seder. And you'd think you'd better prepare if that was the case.
You hear us well?
And then he does this move where Crowder does. Look, it's a smart move in a way. Both Ethan and Crowder did sort of alpha debate tactics before the thing started. And Steven's move here was to walk away and walk in when the interview's ready so he can be the sort of person in charge. It's a total tactic to do. And he's sort of sitting on the sidelines waiting to say, okay, is he in there? Is he waiting? Okay, cool. There's no reason Steven couldn't have been on his phone checking there and waiting. He just didn't want to talk to the producer, who clearly isn't a fan of Crowder. So that's where it starts, and then Crowder comes in.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And so finally Crowder walks back in, and then here's Ethan's tactics.
On this thing, it's like a crescent moon of filth.
Crowder walking like, oh, hey,
Steven.
how's it going?
Hey, Ethan, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I just want to say on a serious note that I'm glad your wife is okay. I heard you had a little bit of a issue with your wife.
Well, she's pregnant with twins.
Ethan does this move here where he's sort of he's trying to eliminate any tension or issues by being positive right out the gate and being genuine. Like, oh, I want to ask about your wife and your pregnancy coming up and everything that's going on. And they talk about the complications of each other's pregnancies, their wives. This is a de-escalation. This is sort of to unhinge and normalize any tensions. Because, look, I'll be honest, Crowder did seem nervous. I mean, I guess that's sort of his style, but I want to know what you think. He was sort of walking around. Crowder did seem like a little like, all right, what's going to happen? Maybe it was an excitement. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But this is a way for Ethan to come in seemingly nonchalant and de-escalate with sort of...
How far in is she?
How far is it? Yeah, how far in?
Late July, early August.
Does he really care, given all the nasty things that he said about him? This is a pretty maniacal, like crazy tactic, and the more you see how much he really feels about Crowder, kind of awful. He's just completely lying to his face about caring.
She woke up with something called GBS.
Anyway, so they get into this personal issue,
but she convinced that one of them is evil.
And they're talking about twins, and he shares. They talk about their Skype issues.
Into a tiff that we could talk.
And then they talk about what the rules of engagement are here, which is important because they talked about this previously. Now, at the end of this conversation, in fact, I can just zoom there now. At the end of it, I want to put this up because this is important.
Yeah.
And so when someone says, hey, you said you would do this, and you just admitted that, of course, there's no proof of that. Well, I heard this from so-and-so. Yeah, but there's no evidence. We can bring up here the direct messages with. I hate to do this, but with Ethan, it was, hey.
So, look, I hate releasing DMs. I don't ever want to release DMs. So, in its own, this is kind of frustrating that he's doing it. At the same time, what he's releasing here isn't really private. This is more of like, we agreed to terms, you violated those terms. And I think when this comes out, I see why these sections, nothing in here is like personal or private, except for the fact that we agreed to these terms. Here's what I said. I'm showing it all. Here's what was said. Okay? And it's very clear.
We'll talk, you and I, man to man. No one else will come in. As a matter of fact, I was going to say, if I have my phone, I can take a picture right here. So there's no problem.
No zigs, no tricks, no zags, just you and me. Sounds great. So they agreed to terms. And then Ethan comes and still does this, which is interesting. So keep that in mind as Ethan's now reconfirming the terms.
Talk about sort of the CDC, sort of, medical authorities.
Yep.
You can tell me where you disagree with me, and then also kind of big tech, because that ties in, with the CDC and World Health Organization.
Now, that would have been a really cool conversation. I'll be honest. I don't think it needed to be about a debate, but I want to hear Ethan Klein's take, because he is a person who he has an opinion that people care about. He's very successful, and Crowder has a different of opinion. How cool would it have been had these two actually been able to have a dialogue? But no, we're not going to get that.
And
okay.
I'll introduce it to my, I have a little bit of a different audience to let them know kind of who you are, what's going on, and if you want to do the same, that's fine. But
yeah, of course, okay. We'll let them know.
Crowder is very respectful here. And, hate him or love him.
All right,
I'll give you a countdown, and then
Crowder's being very respectful and nice right out the gate.
All right, okay. I'm really glad to have my next guest on the show, and I've always said this. I always respect people who enter into the arena. And we've had a lot of debates on this show, which is different from like a Change My Mind, where we sit down and have conversations. But my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach always said, if you come a switch, we go switch. You go spicy, we're going to do a little spicy. So we always try and keep it as respectful as possible. And I really do appreciate the guy making the time, because a lot of people has a huge YouTube channel, several YouTube channels, one of the OGs. A lot of people watch him.
Hyping this guy up.
You know him. Some of you like him. Some of you don't. Same can be said for me. Ethan Klein.
Even when he gave him a negative, did you see what Crowder did? He was being a gentleman by saying, look, some people don't like him, but some people don't like me. It's a way to not try to be fair and honest, but then also not be mean to your guests.
H3. Ethan, thanks, man, for making the time.
You're very welcome, and I just want to say, I know you called me. You said that I would be a layup.
I think I used something like that. Yeah.
And I think you're right, because I don't think I'm a very good debater. I think you know that. So
again, Crowder being respectful, letting them speak. Ethan now, who had just basically was all very polite and calm and talking about his wives, now is ready to attack.
I didn't want to make it too easy for you.
Oh, okay.
So I prepared.
He got the popcorn in right there.
Yes.
All right. So what we were going to talk about is the initial quote.
Yeah. Look how excited he is, because he's like, "Yep, it's time to let's attack." He's not even like attempting to have anything. Now, what would be interesting if he'd done like a Cyrano de Bergerac where he had a headphone in and he had this other expert helping him answer questions. Might have been cool. Might have been a funnier gag and all. But at the end of the day, we don't get to see this fight because
quote that happened.
As Steven respectfully tries to begin the conversation.
I think he's looking off there. The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a
Seder
meme,
jumps
which
in
wasn't intentional.
On Zoom, because Ethan's controlling the Zoom. Now, now, lesson to anybody, producers out there, always be a co-host on a Zoom call if you're doing something like this. And that is a fail on Crowder's team. I'm sorry. Learn Zoom if you're meeting one of your enemies for a conversation. Learn Zoom. If you had been a co-host on that show, I'm pretty positive, you could have booted Sam immediately and it resolved all of this. Because, look, we didn't invite Sam. So, no, we're booting him from the conversation. It would have booted him. He wouldn't have been able to come back in. And then there would have been a forced conversation between Ethan. Had his own producers known this, all of this would have been avoided. And then Ethan would have looked pretty stupid. So the fact that they didn't know that, next time, anybody, if you're using Zoom, make sure you're a co-host, so that way the producers can remove and keep any guests or gotchas that are going to come in. But they didn't, and so he's popped up on a second screen.
Was you saying you don't even have to think about it?
Based on how it's being captured, I don't think Steven's even seeing him yet.
I think people should think about it. I believe
his team knows.
We've talked about this through Playful Ribbing in an aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Steven, do you know that the Spartans are...
So here's Ethan unable to even just respond at all. Any debate.
that they are like
Spartan
practice man love with children.
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder. What a f***ing nightmare.
Thank you, Stephen.
I had no idea this was going to happen.
Yes, he did. He said it earlier.
I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are.
And while that happens, his friend Dan jumps in. Now I've seen people calling out Crowder, saying, "Oh, look at this man! He can't debate him. His lap dog just comes in." Dude, that's BS. Ethan brought a second fighter into this debate. That's 2-on-1. And good on his buddy for immediately knowing what's going on and getting in that seat and having his back, because now it's 2-on-2. And that is fair. No one agreed to the terms, and if the terms are off, then he's allowed to have his number 2 there as well to help him in this fight. So I think it's very unfair, people trying to use that, and you'll see it online. That's not cool.
Yeah, I told Dave. Remember I told you?
Dave
I told you.
in.
I said I guarantee you he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
Oh, I just think
and when we talked about those screenshots earlier, Crowder made a point. I'll make sure all my employees are off this camera, so it's just you and me. There's no 2-on-1. There's no fighting. And Ethan doesn't care because Ethan was never going to debate.
Believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with mental health issues.
Steven,
Ethan Klein doesn't stand up and do his own fighting.
Yeah, that's a knock on Ethan. That's fair. There's a lot of stuff you could knock on Ethan. Let's be honest. Ethan's not perfect. Not that either of these guys should be canceled or deplatformed, which is what Ethan fights for. But the reality is, come on, Ethan.
It's just
now, who is this guy? Right? I didn't know who this guy was, and this was not who we tuned in for.
Let's bring on FM.
That you would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point.
Does that include?
It's nothing to do with you, Sam. It says nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
And not just attempting to get.
You're making a great point there. It's like, so everybody who doesn't have you on their show is avoiding you? I mean, totally valid. Crowder's in the ding, point for Crowder.
Your audience by jumping in.
Well, I debated with Charlie Kirk. Stephen, I mean.
Well, I've debated these people, and you're completely missing the point, Sam.
It's about issues.
It's about issues,
Talk about those issues.
That's what
you weren't invited to talk about those issues, Sam. You have just completely shoehorned yourself in. So now we'll get to. I do have an issue with Crowder, and we'll get to it. But right now, Sam, you weren't supposed to be there.
You're doing here.
Some valid points.
You're so clever. I had no idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your pig pen peanuts eyes.
I wish every.
That'll come to play later. But Crowder just admitted he's watching. So he knows this guy. It's very clear he doesn't like, and he knows this guy. And I imagine it's because Sam's not a fan. He's been instigating and creating drama with Crowder a lot. He's got a lot of haters. I got haters. We all got our haters. We don't want to encourage or give our platform to the haters. So Ethan's brought in a troll here, a hater of Crowder, who's out there totally trying to grift and keep bothering and mention Crowder to get his own clicks and likes to get attention. And by showing up here, he's admitted it.
If you take those off, are they velveteen buttons?
They're just
You must have
black
been
eyes.
very worried
Aren't they?
about
Like
this, Stephen. I don't know
no
why.
one's worried about
come on,
it. It's
Sam.
why I didn't want to do it.
Well, let's have
Sam,
the
come
debate.
on.
If
I'll tell you
no
what.
one's worried,
I have a general rule.
This is a great
I don't start a
opportunity
debate based with people on a lie. And how
Or
about you get
sabotaging.
How about you get to a 30th of the audience share?
Howard. Stephen, show
A
yourself.
30th of the
Don't show your
audience.
co-host.
Ethan, you should show yourself.
Ethan, how can you respect yourself?
Both of them are complaining because if you go over to Ethan's version of events, as they're talking, it's because they show the other Dan there is the one who's on there. You can see her.
Brother.
Steven, you are such a coward. Stop showing your little leprechaun co-host who comes out dressed like your sidekick.
Come on, Ethan, why do you have to bring on
Show Steven.
30th of the
Why
viewership?
are
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. So you have a
Just
guy
show
with
Steven.
less viewers to come on to debate him because you can't?
Well, obviously, if I'm a layup and not a debater.
Well, look, you're the one who called. You're the one who got
Steven's the one that got angry about
Show
it.
Steven. Don't be
Hold on a
such a
second. All right,
coward.
hold on a second. Let me hear what Pigpen has to say here really quick.
Fair enough.
But Ethan, look, I don't. Hold on a second, Ethan. This is because initially I came on here to talk with Ethan. Ethan, come on, man. Look, the same reason that I haven't ever had a conversation with Sam Seder is the same reason that Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Brett Weinstein, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro don't own anything. It's based on a lie, Ethan. Just like you claiming my booker reached out to you, Ethan, when you know that's not true. There's no one ducking you, Sam.
I've never afraid.
Sam,
I think you're a smart guy.
This is important. So I want to play that into context. He says he never starts a debate on a lie, is what he just said, right? But then he also admits that Ethan lied about the booker. Well, then why are you starting a debate with Ethan? Do only do debates with liars if they're Ethan Klein? Point to Ethan at that point, because Crowder just has a foot in his mouth. What's the lie? Now, what's the lie? Sam is out there saying that there was some convention. They were supposed to...
I don't understand why
it doesn't mean that I'm
you are
ducking
so
him.
worried about
and point to Crowder. Just because I want to fight Tyson doesn't mean I'm ducking him. He doesn't want to. He doesn't think you're worthy of him. He doesn't care about you. And because Sam has been out there pushing and commenting on Crowder a bunch, the Crowder's like, why would I give you a platform to get more audience? I totally understand why Crowder's avoiding, not ducking, avoiding him, because he doesn't want to give him any attention.
Why do you feel that anyone, Sam? Why do you feel that anyone owes you airtime when you have a 40th of the audience? And even
well, I wish he hadn't mentioned the audience size there. That's where Crowder again loses me a bit, because the first part of that was like, why do you feel like anyone? Why exactly? Why does anyone?
you are so worried about this.
Why do you feel that anyone, Sam? Why do you feel that anyone owes you airtime?
Why does anyone owe you airtime? Is I think the question that he should have asked, because no one does. No one owes him anything.
You have a 40th of the audience, and you've been doing the show.
I don't think anybody owes me airtime. I think that Ethan has just given it to me. I didn't.
Now, that's the fact. He's here now. You're confronted with him. You knew he was coming. I'm sorry. This is where Crowder loses some stake, because while it's douchey, and I think totally, while I understand Ethan's creating entertainment, Ethan looks like a snake and a liar, and just trying to make attention, and he was never going to give him anything. But that's what Ethan does. So that's what I've always sort of expect from him. So I'm just kind of surprised that Crowder walked into his trap. And so now here you are, and he's here. Slimy or not that he's here. How are you going to handle it?
Him for it, and
right,
so
no, you've been begging for it for a long time with everyone
Steven,
bigger than yourself.
You
can't build an audience, and so what happens is he uploads 15 times more, has less than a 50th of the audience.
Well, that's why he wants to debate you, is so he can build his.
Do you think
come on,
your audience cares that I only have 1 million subscribers and you have what, 6 or 7 million subscribers?
Let me answer. Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? Sure. You want me to answer your question? My audience would say Sam who? Just like Joe Rogan's audience and Ben Shapiro's and Dave Rubin.
Who I am.
Now, facts, and now Sam's like, well, now you know me, and Sam's trying to get attention here. Whatever you want to duck on Crowder and say that Crowder's ducking, whatever, you can say that. Honestly, you can make that opinion if you want. Sam has no reason to be here. I know Ethan invited him, but Ethan invited him and they agreed to terms, and added him last minute. Shady, in my opinion.
Now they all know who you are because you had to shoehorn yourself into another coward show.
College students, every day that you do that, change my mind. They don't know who those college students are.
This is another lie. Let me clarify, Sam. The change my mind, everyone knows on the show, right? We've had professors on the...
How did you know I ended my show early?
And look at Sam, didn't even let him answer. But Sam has a point, because he knew. Someone must have told him or something, or he just realized it. How'd you know I ended early?
Last week, Stephen, if your audience
because
doesn't even know
me, because you're an idiot, and half of your staff
do
doesn't
you
like
watch my
you.
show?
Because I'm a diehard fan.
Yes, it's because he's a diehard fan.
If you're a
diehard
fan,
but I just met you.
Why not?
Congratulations, Sam Seder's fan.
Stephen,
I'm just
have
a
a
huge
conversation.
fan.
I will talk about the issues that you want to talk about, Stephen.
Right now, I'm trying to talk with you. You're interrupting, Sam.
You bombarded the show.
Okay,
you bombarded my show under a false pretense.
He did. That's facts. That's the truth.
You claimed that just like you claimed.
You did. You did. Sam, did you know that Crowder wouldn't know that you were coming on? Then you did.
That I ducked the debate with you under a false pretense. Have I ever?
That is what the Politicon people told me.
Oh, that's what they told you? Well, so you're just lazy with your research?
And if big tech is...
You continue with the lie. You need to research to say, did Stephen ever accept...
They said you were
Let me explain to you. Hey,
whoa,
dropped
Sam, out and you literally
Sam, sweetheart. Sam, fake stand-up comic who we can't find any footage about online. Let me finish.
I'm not a stand-up comic.
Now, what does that mean? What is not a stand-up comic? Now, I got to be careful of what I can show here, but all I would say is go look up his Roman Polanski tweet. Look up Sam Seder, Roman Polanski. Yikes. Yikes. So he lost his job for it. It's a crazy tweet he made. I'm assuming that's what he makes. Also, it should be very clear. Tim Pool, Sam Seder publicly accepted my open invite for left personalities to come on my show. We would cover all costs. He then privately DM'd me saying he wouldn't actually come on, and then used it to generate content for his YouTube channel. He's a liar and a coward. So here we have another version of events saying Sam actually does the same thing. Look, Sam's going to go off on this whole thing about you. We offered this cinema or elect whatever con that Crowder was supposed to debate Sam on. Crowder's like, I never agreed to that. I don't know what bookers told you. What maybe the convention booker booked him. How do you know this for a fact, Sam? Sam even made a video playing an audio tape from the convention saying, yeah, well, we can't control his team, whatever. Who knows what the actual backstory is? Crowder may have backed out. Crowder made the convention might have just made it up. But at the end of the day, Sam's insistent and has made much of content saying cold feet Crowder, cold feet Crowder.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that makes sense because everything that I've seen is incredibly unfunny and unentertaining.
Well,
Which may
I'm
explain
not
the
a
audience.
stand-up
Irony alert, Stephen.
Comedian.
How much have you watched of my stuff, Stephen? And you think that your
Can I
audience
answer your
wouldn't
question?
appreciate our discussing things?
Samuel, can I answer your question?
Yes.
So you have gone on, you've done the same thing with other comments. Everyone has a bigger audience than you. Because you said, I want to speak with Steven Crowder. You believe that at some point there was some acceptance? When have I ever done a Politicon? Ever? As a matter of fact, in the last decade,
Now, while that's a good dig at Crowder, Crowder's got you, Sam, because can you prove it? Can you prove that Crowder has ducked you? Are you going to acknowledge that you've ducked Tim Pool? What you only do it and it's favoring you?
In the last decade, I haven't done a single political conference. I hosted CPAC for 4 years and stopped because they suck. They don't pay and they're full of losers. And you've been clamoring for it, and it's a lie.
Told me that you dropped out of doing his show because
this is just hearsay and gossip. I've never met more of a woman.
Career when he wants to keep debating.
I don't know.
All right, let's talk about the issue.
So, Ethan, do you want to have a conversation, Ethan?
About the vaccine, because
Ethan, do you want to have a conversation?
Does this sound like a guy you want to debate, by the way? When he's just going to keep talking over you and you're clearly never going to agree on anything? This wouldn't have been fun. This would have been them just rah, 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 rah. It's just what it is. So finally, Crowder's like, enough. Ethan, do you want to do this?
Hide.
Absolutely, I do.
So why are you hiding behind Seder?
Oh, no, me and Sam are aligned. I'm not hiding. He just,
well, you're just a liar.
So you're a liar.
Okay, so you are hiding. You're absolutely hiding, and you're making an event spectacle, for sure. And it would have been a good conversation, Ethan, which is a missed opportunity, but whatever. You decided to make it a spectacle for views and clicks. That's what you do. We all do to an extent. But, you said we are aligned on the issues. But you didn't agree to it.
Because remember, we said, hold on a second.
I mean, it sort of feels like
it's
you guys are the ones
ridiculous.
who are hiding.
Really? No. This is actually
Who snuck in on you?
Who's the guy who
Ethan's
never
being
appears
completely
on
open
stage,
about it.
never does a live show,
But it's a
never
comic.
never even allows a shadow of comedy to be perceived on his program. It's just hiding.
Right.
Everything we do is out in the open. H3.
Steven, you're wearing a holster.
We agreed.
So what?
Hold on a second. Yeah? So? I want to normalize responsible gun ownership. Is that your debate? No wonder you had to bring in a hack for you.
wanna
Well,
call
no,
it
you're talking about comedy.
That's
I mean,
a debate strategy.
That's not
Right
very
for you.
funny.
You have a holster, bro.
Also, your
You have a
sponsor is
holster.
Spartan.
Yeah, like I would have loved the Ethan roasting with Crowder, but now Sam's going to chime in every time and make it about himself. It's a third party who has an emotional connection to Crowder. He didn't need to be there. Now, to the same extent, Crowder, you've been confronted with him directly. You could have probably he's trying to call him out, which he's gotten some hits on him. Let's be clear. Sam does look desperate. Sam looks desperate. But now he's here. So you could have called him out more specifically.
Takes advantage of mentally ill women for a show.
Is about gay boy love.
Okay.
All of it.
All right, Sam. You got it. You got it. I hope you have
No,
a
come on. Hey, Steven,
wonderful highlight reel.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me just make one point.
Hope you enjoy Politicon.
Hold on, let me make one point, Steven.
Take it easy.
All right,
don't
thanks,
bail.
guys. I appreciate it.
Don't bail, you coward.
Hey, Sam, one thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
Hold on.
One thing before I go.
I
Can you
just
take
want
off your
Because you weren't invited, Sam. Now, I agree. It's going to look bad for me. This is where Crowder does ultimately lose, even though up to this point, I think Klein loses because he looks like he doesn't want to fight.
glasses?
We just want to see if
I just want to see if you take them off. If you have the Velveteen Rabbit buttons. That's the only thing I'm curious about. It's the only interesting part about it.
Steven,
Or if there's a soul.
Let's
Just
debate.
take off the glasses.
Let's debate, Steven.
Don't hide behind the
Don't
glasses.
be a
Don't
coward.
say let's debate,
Don't be a
Ethan. You
coward.
All right,
Debate the
this is
issues.
sad.
What does it matter who you debate, coward?
All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you.
Coward.
Steve, won't even take off the glasses.
I was right.
All right, yeah, you can give
Bye-bye.
me the X. This is-
You run away twice. Cold feet again.
Come on, Steven.
Wow. Wow. Dude, I can't believe he admits in the following.
He admitted that he followed the show last week.
We got him.
He admitted that he watched the show last week.
We got
Early.
him. Dude, we played him so hard.
Because the reality is this doesn't look good to Crowder. To a lot of people, mind you. And they have a reason to celebrate because he left. When you leave, you're running away. You are running away. And if you're going to run away, make it very clear why you're running away, which he sort of did, but there was so much over talking. I think Crowder, instead of ending with the weird Velveteen Rabbit joke, Crowder again should have been very clear. Look, this is when I don't care about Sam. I'm not here to debate Sam. I'm here to debate you, Ethan. If you're not going to debate me, I'm checking out. Do you want to lose him or not? And then you're putting it on Ethan. Like, we agreed to this. I will continue to do this. If we're not doing this, best of luck. All the best. This isn't about Sam. And if Sam insists, Sam, you and I could talk about this another time. I don't care about you. I don't want to be. You can hit him all you want. I have no interest in debating you. You're not at the level of someone I take seriously. So I don't owe you anything. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to waste my time anymore with you. Best of luck. This was about Ethan. Ethan, I'm talking to you now. Focus it and alpha it right to this is what I think would have made it look even better for Crowder. So at the end of the day, they're going to be here. They're celebrating
because he literally was following. He saw that you went live, dude. We fucking got him.
Oh my God, we fucking nailed him.
And it's like, look, this is revealing because sure, if you hate Crowder, if you are more liberal and you think Crowder's the enemy, then yeah, we got him. That was what this was for. They wanted to get him. We got him. They didn't want to have a debate. And this is the problem with the left. Well, I didn't agree with everything Crowder says. You were never even going to give him a fair shot. You were just there to get him. And hate Crowder all you want. At the end of the day, Crowder tried. Now, again, the reason I say both lost is because Crowder left without dropping, I think, enough of a mic drop. Crowder did look like he bailed. He bailed and looked like he was afraid. Whether he was or not, it's all about the optics online. And you got 1 million, it's still going, 1 million people see this, and 109,000 people like this, looking at like Crowder was afraid. And I think that's unfair because I think Crowder had every reason to not debate Sam, and he had the right to leave. But I just think the way he gave that to Ethan was a win for Ethan. Now, it's still a win for Crowder as well because Ethan looks like a scum who's also afraid of debating. So again, at the end of the day, when you watch all these clips, you watch them both together, it seems very clear to me both of them won to an extent and both of them lost to an extent. Did we win? Was this entertaining? Was this worth it? All I know is everybody's talking about it, and I ended up watching it all. These are two strong personalities. They're very popular YouTube personalities, and I wish they would. I hope they do a rematch, and I hope Ethan takes it seriously because it would be fascinating to watch them. Ethan's smart. He knows he's smart. He's thinks he's very smart. And so I think it would have been interesting to have them have a debate. So it's frustrating they couldn't. At the end of the day, did this make Ethan look better or worse? No, I think they really sort of evened out. They evened out, and now each side's going to say that the other did the other. But now you guys know the truth. Excuse me. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts down below. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Most importantly, leave a comment down below. Smash that like button. Tell me who won. Who do you think won this? Did they both win? Do you agree with me? Do you think one looks better than the other? Would you have preferred a real conversation or debate between these two titans of YouTube? Tell me your thoughts down below. I remain fans of them both to an extent. I don't like certain things. Some of them did, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to cancel them out or stop watching. I like to hear all points of view. Doesn't mean I'm on one side or the other. Where do you stand? Tell me. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet. It's Tuesday. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join the channel.